Okay, so the last three videos covered the three sides of the exposure triangle. So today we're just going to recap them real quick. So you have aperture on one side, which is how big the opening in your lens is, how fast light will stream into your lens. You have shutter speed, which is how long the lens is going to stay open because the shutter opens up and closes. And then you have ISO, which is the sensitivity setting inside your camera. Those three things are the things that you control in manual mode. So once you have controlled all three of those things separately, then you can go to M on your dial, set it to manual mode, and you can just get any combination of those three things. And when you get the light meter to read at 0, you've created an exposure that's going to work. And the cool thing about digital photography is that you can jump right in and work with that light meter and work with the three different controls and then hit play and see the result that you have created. You don't need to send film off to a lab and wait for a week for it to come back and then see that you underexposed everything or overexposed or whatever. You see immediately what you got as a result, and then you can go forward and make a change right away and retake the photo. So awesome way to learn photography. Way nicer to learn on a digital camera than it is to learn on film. Way cheaper too, I guess. Cameras are a lot more expensive than they were back in the day, but once you have the camera, you don't have any other recurring expense of constantly developing film. All right, so today we're going to talk about two different things. The first thing that I want to talk about is quality of light. And then the second thing that I want to talk about is a gear-related topic, which is the idea of maybe a couple of lens recommendations. So first, quality of light. So let's just talk for today about outdoor light. So we're talking about going outside to take photos in your yard or wherever. So there are a lot of things that affect the quality of light, and not all light is created equal in terms of how nice it's going to look in a photograph. So one of the things that professional photographers do extensively is to control what time of day they're shooting. So you'll find a lot of times well, first of all, first thing in the morning during sunrise, you're going to get what is called blue hour. And it's got like a bluish, it's starting to see the blue in the sky, but it's like that dark midnight blue, and light has a very blue quality to it. And then once the sun comes up just a little bit further, you have a period of time which is called golden hour. And that golden hour, and these unfortunately don't last an hour. They usually, in our area, in the Philadelphia metro area, probably 30 to 40 minutes depending on the day of the year. But golden hour is when the sun just streams down through. It's really low in the sky, and it just washes everything in this beautiful golden glow. Photographers absolutely love to create images in golden hour. It's just beautiful. And then there's still a couple of hours of pretty nice early morning light that is not quite golden hour, but it's still low enough in the sky that the light is gentle and pretty. As the sun goes further up into the sky, and maybe from 10:30, 11 o'clock until like 2 in the afternoon, that sun is much more directly overhead. And if you don't have some nice cloud cover, it gets really harsh. It's not an attractive time for shooting. A lot of times, a photographer will shoot in the morning and then maybe find a coffee house somewhere. They'll go sit and like edit photos in the middle of the day, then go back out at the end of the day as the sun is going down. Now, obviously, when you're shooting at home or you're shooting a sporting event for your kids or whatever, sometimes you can control it, sometimes you can't. But it's super good information to know that there are good times of the day. I'd like to recommend an app. It's relatively inexpensive. I can't remember if it's $9.99 or $19.99. But either way, it's a one and done purchase on either Android or an iPhone, and it's called Photo Pills. And if you go to the Photo Pills app, there's a bunch of different things that are in there. There's a bunch of different little like sub apps inside of Photo Pills. Each one is called a pill. But the one that I'm referencing today is it'll tell you exactly the times of those different types of light in a day. So you can even, like, if I'm booking a portrait session for a month from now, I can just pull up, April 24th, and golden hour is going to be from such and such to so and so, and then you can book your shoot in that time frame. So if you install that, you can pull up your times and kind of start to line up, maybe set yourself a photography time that you get to go out into your, get your spring flowers coming up or the birds in your yard or whatever during that time, and you're going to see some pretty nice light. All right, next I want to talk just for a couple of minutes about lenses. So lenses that get packaged with a camera kit are usually not very good. If you spend a ton of money, if you get a really high-end kit, you can get a very expensive camera body with a great lens connected with it, included in the bundle. But most of the time, if you're in the lower price point, you're going to have probably more of the money of that kit has gone into the body of the camera, and they've given you a fairly not so wonderful lens. So one of the fastest things that you want to do if you're really kind of getting into photography and you're enjoying it and you want to get better photos would be to upgrade your lens. So I want to make one particular recommendation for an awesome first lens because it doesn't really break the bank. It's called a nifty 50. And a 50mm lens isn't a wide-angle lens, meaning a wide-angle lens basically has a wider view of the world than your eyeballs do. And anything low in focal length, like a 16mm or a 24mm or any of the stuff like that, is generally a wide-angle lens. It's viewing a big chunk of the world beyond what your eyes normally see. If you go above 50mm, you go to 70 or 100 or 200 or 300 or 400. Those are all various degrees of telephoto lens. They're basically like a binocular or whatnot. They're pulling it to you. So you're actually seeing a smaller chunk of the world through those lenses than you would from your eyes. So 50mm is generally considered to be neither. It's just normal. It's the viewpoint. So a lot of people really use that to start. And you have a couple of choices with 50mm lenses. You could go with a 1.8, a 1.4, or a 1.2. And as a general rule, the 1.8, you can find most brands, you can find them around $125, $130. Really affordable. They're not the most durable lenses in the world, but they're a ton better than the inexpensive zoom lenses they put in with a kit. If you go to the 1.4, that's going to probably be more like $300 or $350, but then that's like a keeper lens. You're going to have that forever, and it's a really good lens, and it's not very expensive. If you go to the 1.2, they tend to be more like $1,200, $1,300. They get a lot more expensive. That is a professional lens, and for learning purposes, you really don't need to go there. I think if you have the funds available, that middle one, the $300 one, that's a fantastic price point to get a great lens that you'll love shooting and you'll use for years and years, and it will give you amazingly sharp, great images beyond what you might have gotten from your initial lens. So that's just a little tidbit about a lens recommendation. I'll offer other gear recommendations and talk about other camera related items throughout the whole thing. So I hope everybody gets a chance to get out there today and shoot. We do have a pretty day today. It's not quite as warm as it was yesterday, but it looks like it's going to be nice. So get out there and shoot and have some fun with your camera. And I would love to see some of the photos that people are creating. So stay healthy, stay distant, and stay well.